Good morning and welcome to another free webinar Friday. So this week we're going to look at and discuss local ranking factors. So what that means is if I'm going to start trying to rank my clinic on Google, the first thing that I need to know is what are Google actually looking at? What is playing into Google's decisions to decide which clinic to rank above another one when I search for a certain service, whether it's dentist, osteopath, psychiatrist, or whatever else it happens to be. So the first question then becomes, how do we find out this information? How can we find out, how can we know what Google is looking for when they're making this decision of who to rank first and who to rank second and so on? And there are two answers to this. The first one is we can get it from the horse's mouth. We can ask Google to some extent. Google do some, hang on, I'm not sharing my screen. Let me share my screen. Here we go. There we go. Nice infinite window there. So if we look here, Google actually tells us how to improve your local ranking on Google. Now, if we look at this, it's quite simple information. So they're talking about their Google business profile here rather than the website, saying keep your data, enter all the information about your business, verify it, keep it all up to date, get reviews, keep it up to date, basically. And then it says, how do we determine local ranking? Now, the first two, this is a bit obvious. So relevance. Relevance means that basically if I'm searching for a dentist, you don't reply with a physiotherapist or a psychiatrist or a beauty clinic or a mechanic or something else. So if someone is searching dentist, we'll reply with, let me just close my email there. If someone is searching for dentist, we'll reply with dentists. It makes sense, doesn't it? We'll return dentists. The next one is distance, because again, if I'm here in London and I type in dentist, I probably don't want a dentist in Scotland or in Ireland or in Australia or somewhere else. So distance is very important. Generally, when Google is returning local businesses, they will always return businesses that are close to you. And there was something called the proximity update, which happened a couple of years ago, which basically gave a lot more weight to distance. So it meant that whereas before it was a bit easier to rank further away from your clinic, now it's much harder than it used to be because Google prioritizes businesses that are very local over other ones. And the last one, this is where it starts to get interesting, is prominence. So we have different words for prominence. We call it authority. Authority. Basically, how important do I think your business is compared to other businesses? Now, this is where it gets interesting, isn't it? Because Google doesn't give us very much about this. It just says, if it's famous, it's likely to be prominent. We look all across the internet where links, articles, directories, review count, more reviews, positive ratings, and your position web results, i.e. your organic ranking. Weird thing Google's saying is like the higher we rank you, the higher we'll rank you. But what they're saying is that the higher your website ranks, the higher they'll rank your Google business profile. So that's quite vague, isn't it? That's a little bit glib because they're not really giving us loads to go on there. They're just saying, the more important we think your business is, the more we'll rank it. And that's kind of all they give us. But that's only one source of information, is what does Google have to say? So the other thing we can look at is basically SEO is a very, very chatty industry. We talk a lot. There's lots of blogs, there's lots of webinars, there's lots of ways of people sharing information and discussing these different things. So what we can do is literally just type into Google local ranking factors 2024, and we'll see all these different organizations that have told us this is the things that we think are really important for ranking in 2024. So let's have a look and discuss some of these different things. Now, I'm going to caveat this again. It's about Google, first of all. There was a webinar I was on last year with, I think it was Greg Gifford, who's a big kind of name in local search, who said 80% of what Google tell us is misinformation. And you might go, that's crazy, but it's true. So for example, last year there was an update where Google said basically Google for years had been saying that website speed was really important, user experience was really important, mobile responsiveness was really important, core web vitals were really important, and we were being judged on all these things. And overnight they just literally turned around and not just said we're not ranking on those factors anymore, but said actually we haven't been ranking on them for ages, it's just we wanted you to carry on doing them, but we don't actually look at that. And SEOs were up in arms about it overnight, and all the forums were blowing up saying, oh, sick of Google, this is a waste of time, why I'm even in this industry, and that sort of thing. A lot of people think that Google do stuff like this to make SEO difficult, because if SEO is difficult and they keep moving the goalposts, which they do, then you're more likely to spend money on paid ads. Paid ads is something like 85% of Google's revenue, advertising on the Google network. So there's an argument for that as well. Who knows? Anyway, let's share screen again. And here we can see, if I've done that search, local ranking factors 2024, here's all different organizations that are wanting to give me advice on what Google's local ranking factors are. So let's have a look at a few of those and just have a quick skim through and try and jot down over here some of the most important local ranking factors and give you some advice from my experience as well. And then also I'm going to comes at the end to kind of an approach of this is how I think you should be doing it, which is something different to what you'll probably expect. So let's have a look. Search engine land, we're going to start with them. And something I'm going to talk about here all the way through is that you got to think about the agenda of the person or the organization that's giving you this information. Search engine land are just a kind of magazine for SEOs. So they have no agendas. They're quite a neutral place to start. So let's have a look what they say. Title and description tags still matter. Well, yeah, obviously that's very important. So we're going to optimize our on-page elements, so our H1, our meta description, that sort of thing. And also, as they point out, that's going to show in the description. But it's probably not as important as our Google Business Profile. So we're going to get to Google Business Profile here. Let's have a look. Google Business Profile, claim and optimize. Now, Google Business Profile, we all know what a Google Business Profile is, I'm sure. If I type in dentist, then these 3 dentists near us come up. And if I click on one of these, I get their Google Business Profile will come up here. That's your Google Business Profile, as I'm sure you know. This one doesn't seem amazingly well optimized, but it's got some stuff on it. They've got some reviews and so on. Now, the reason the Google Business Profile is probably the most important thing in local SEO is 1, it's free, it's really, really easy, and 2, it comes up top of the page here in the map. And if you can get in this map pack or local pack, as it's sometimes called, that's really, really good. So let's carry on with search. And what else do they have to say? Let's close that. So here we go. Here's the good things you need to do with your Google Business Profile. So categories, add business cards, solid description, photos and videos, create posts, answering questions, products and services, reply to reviews. Basically, first of all, set it up right in the first place. So if you're a dentist, put dentist. If you're a physiotherapist, set it up for physiotherapist. Don't get the primary category wrong. Include as much information as you possibly can. Keep everything updated. Keep adding photos. Keep adding updates. Make sure your products and services are on there with prices. And just basically keep going, keep going, keep going. Add as much information as you possibly can to your Google Business Profile. Online reviews. Now, this is another big local ranking factor. So keep getting people to add reviews. So obviously we have a service where we'll send an email to your patients asking them to rank you from 1 to 10, and then the people that reply sort of over 7 or whatever score we set it to are asked to leave a review. The people that score low are just asked to give you feedback. So it's good to have, however you do it, have a system in place to get reviews from people. Build out separate service pages. This is also very good advice. So this is where, for example, on a clinic website, let's say we're doing an osteopath website, we might have slightly different in clinic space because it's not about different services as such, but different conditions. So we might have a general osteopathy page, then we might have a sports injury page, we might have a back pain page, a neck pain page, a sciatica page, a plantar fasciitis page, and so on and so on. And there are 2 reasons for doing that. One is this something we're going to come on to in other webinars actually, but one, it allows you to target people making that search. So not everyone looking for a physical therapist can type in the therapy they want. They might type in back pain London, back pain Manchester, back pain clinic near me, that sort of thing. By having a well-optimized back pain page, you get to target that search, which is why when we're doing this, we first of all do keyword research and then kind of work down which are the biggest searches people are making, and then work down them from there. The other good reason for doing it is just quite simply, all other things being equal, the more content, the more useful content that you put on your website, the more higher it will rank. And also, if you keep adding more content, adding fresh content, building out kind of where you have pillar content and then siloed content. So for example, I might have a back pain page, and then I might have 3 or 4 different blog articles that go into specific aspects of back pain, like mattresses, heat packs, that sort of thing. That way I can build up a repository of information on my website, and Google, when someone types in back pain, Google says, oh yeah, that's really useful. I just want to go back up to reviews for a second and say one other thing. I've seen quite a few SEOs say that this thing doesn't matter, and it's keywords in reviews. And I totally disagree. It does matter, because when I lived in Waterloo, there was a clinic near us. There were several clinics near us in central London, so there's lots of clinics. And if you typed in back pain, there was one clinic which consistently came up, which didn't come up in any of the other searches, but it came up for back pain website. They had quite a poorly optimized Google business profile. I mean, in terms of SEO, they were doing everything wrong, but they had about 5 reviews that mentioned back pain. And when you typed in back pain, Google would actually show you their Google business profile, but then it would show the review underneath with back pain in bold, and another review, back pain in bold. So, other people have gone there for back pain. So keywords in reviews are absolutely fantastic. And if you can, I mean, it's just struggle enough to get patients to leave reviews. We know that. But if you can, if you've got a particularly good relationship with a client and they say, yeah, I'd love to leave you a review, what do you want me to say? Then get them to mention your location and the treatment they had. I came for cosmetic dentistry in Chelsea. I came for back pain treatment in Hackney. I came for counselling in Manchester, and it was really helpful. Thank you so much. That will really help. That's a great thing to do if you can persuade a patient to do it. Online directories and citations. Now, this is again, yes, this is a very good local ranking factor. It's not what it used to be. So when I first started out several years ago, it was about 5-6 years ago now, I bought a citation campaign. I basically had my Google business profile set up for my web development business, which I was running from home, and I wasn't ranking at all. I ran a citation campaign, built about 50 citations, and overnight I was number 1 in all of my local area in Waterloo. It was incredible. And I thought, wow, hit the jackpot. Started doing it for clients. It did make a big increase for clients. Now it's not so much. It's not such a big ranking factor anymore. And if you look at all these different surveys that say these are the local ranking factors, the other SEOs do agree with me on this, that from a few years ago to now, it's kind of dropped in what we consider importance in local ranking factors. But still, it's a foundational aspect of local SEO. So it's something that we do. Clients often say, when we build citations on websites like Yale and Thompson and Brown Book and all these other websites that no one ever uses and no one cares about. Let's have a look. Brown Book, there we go, the Global Business Database. Like, honestly, I don't believe that anyone uses any of these websites to find a business, because they use Google to find a business. It's crazy. That seems to be taking a while. Let's try a different one. Silex. Local search. Okay, their website's not even working, so that's pretty good. Here we go. So if I'm looking for, let's say, dentist in London, yeah, it's going to give me all these different dentists. And here we go. So just randomly picking one, Bupa Dental Care Marylebone. So this is, what is this? This isn't even anything to do with dentistry. Is that an ad? That's ridiculous. Here we go. Bupa Dental Care Marylebone. So we create all these listings, these citations on these websites, and clients say, Chris, like, we don't think anyone uses those websites. So yeah, no, we agree with you. But the thing is, it's just showing Google another proof that you exist. It's another link into your website. It's another telling Google that you're legit, basically. That's what it's all about. Updating these is also important because Google wants to see consistency across the internet, but definitely everyone would agree that's a big local ranking factor. Well, not as big as it used to be, but good. Right, here's an interesting one, Get Social. So yeah, I think Google did say recently because they just gave us the option not so long ago to add social profiles to Google Business Profile. But when you say Get Social here, it can be a little bit misleading because, yeah, it's a good idea to put those links in your Google Business Profile. But at the same time, all SEOs are quite unanimous that actually your social media, you can be very active on Facebook. It's not going to boost your local SEO, right? That's not to say that there's no point to it. There certainly is a point to it because it's just a different channel. But it's a bit like saying, sending out, doing a leaflet campaign or having a massive poster in the local supermarket is not going to boost your local SEO. Obviously it's not. And social media is a bit the same. It's not to say that you won't get business like that. It's not just in the same way. It's not to say that you won't get business from your leaflet campaign or your giant poster. It's just that it won't affect your SEO, not directly. But yeah, by all means, add your social profiles to your Google Business Profile. Okay, so we've looked at what Search Engine Land have to say. Let's just flick through a few others because they're going to be kind of more or less the same. At least we hope. So this is backlinko.com. So here we go. These are things we're going to talk about. Let's have a look. Let's jump straight to local SEO ranking factors. Now, here is some good advice. Google Business Profile is greater than your website. Because again, as we've just discussed, if your Google Business Profile is well optimized, you put everything in there, that's going to come up first. And Google, being Google, prioritizing their own tools, obviously, they're going to look at your Google Business Profile first. That said, then you're backing that up with your website. And your website is also, of course, still important because it's on your website people are going to go to convert from being an interested party into an actual patient. So your website is still extremely important, which is why it says down here, 13.82% on-page factors. Link signals, this is an interesting thing that wasn't really discussed in Search Engine Land, and that's something I want to get onto in just a minute. I don't want to talk about this for too long, so we'll get onto that and then maybe start to wrap it up a little bit. NAPs are huge. So NAP stands for name, address, phone number, and again we're talking about citations listing on local business directories. I don't know. Looking here, it doesn't say anything about NAP signals here. So, oh, there we go. Citation signals 10%. So it's weird to sort of lead with that, really. NAPs are huge. Online reviews, which we've talked about. There we go. Reviews, yeah, very, very, very important. In fact, I would have considered it bigger than that. When I first started and worked for osteopaths only in the beginning, if you searched almost anywhere in London, you would get GOSC come up, General Osteopathic Council, if you search for osteopath, and they're not osteopaths, they're the Osteopathic Council, so it's a completely irrelevant thing for the search, but it's just all the links going into them that make a big difference. In fact, talking about reviews, not links. So to give you an example of that, in fact, when I was in Waterloo, I found my local osteopath because they had 255 star reviews and they dominated local search just on that. They had nothing website, but they had so many reviews that they dominated it. Normal SEO still applies. Yeah, absolutely, because you still want to appear in organic results as well. Not loads of information here. Do they say anything about links, which is the other thing that we really want to discuss? So SEO and app citations, local link building. Let's see what they have to say about that. Okay. Pretty much every link building strategy that works for non-local website will work for local dentists, PC shops, and locksmiths. That's a very contentious thing to say, and we'll talk about links in a sec. There's lots of unique backlink opportunities that non-local sites can't tap into. Yes, that's certainly very true. So we can build links by talking about to other local businesses in our area. And even though you'll probably need to tap into some cold email outreach at some point, I would say you'll have to tap into a hell of a lot of cold email outreach. You'll also have to do some cold phone outreach and just get on the phone and say to people, hello, I'm calling from such a business. We're speaking to, careful how you word this, don't go in and say what you want, but go in and say, we're speaking to other local organisations to see how we can work together and benefit each other in the community. Is that something that you'd be interested in discussing and sharing some ideas around? And if anyone says no to that, you don't really want to be associated with them in the first place, because that's, you're saying, let's work together for the benefit of both of us. And anyone who off the bat says no to that, it's just like, yeah, great, okay, fine. Let's focus on the bigger picture people who actually want to get things done. This is a good idea. Just look for anyone who you have a relationship, anyone in your area who you think, we might be able to do stuff together. Then you can just offer all sorts of things to them. You can offer to do, for example, just for anything from just guest posting or reciprocal linking on their website. You could ask to, let's say a classic example is a physiotherapy clinic or a osteoarthritis sports injury clinic partnering with a sports club, which is one thing that we always go after. You could offer to sponsor something. You could offer to come and give a talk. You could offer to come do like a free QA session. You could write for their magazine or something like that. You can offer them a discount on their first treatment. You can offer a discount on block bookings. Get creative, just try and think, what can you possibly do? You can also do other local things, like maybe run a charity event, run a clean up the park event, run a free event for kids at some point, write blogs for local schools on, if you're a dentist, for example, on keeping kids' teeth clean. Just try and be creative, pitch things to people. You're going to have to pitch a lot of things to a lot of people. If you don't like pitching things to people, then speak to us or hire a freelancer who likes making phone calls or something like that. But what we're trying to do there is essentially create links. So backlinks from people's websites, which you get off from local news, from local blogs and that sort of thing. Send press releases. Local newspapers and local news sites are starving for stories. Yeah, we'd like to think so. Sometimes they are and sometimes they're not. So you might send a genuinely really, really exciting and interesting press release, and it just so happens that particular week there's lots of other stuff going on. They had a particular feature planned. The editor's not got much time, doesn't really care about you, and you don't make the cut. And then another week you might send a press release which is genuinely quite dull, and they've got no news at all. Nothing is happening. They don't know how to fill their pages or their blog, and they'll do a feature on you. That's media. That's how it works. Again, every time you do get a mention, you're getting a link back from the digital version. It's hardly advanced. So let's just quickly skim through these and talk a little bit more about links, because I want to start wrapping this up in a minute. So this one again says high quality backlinks. Top tier backlinks, the best kind of backlink comes from a website with the same content as yours. Well, possibly, or another local. Basically, it's agreed that links from any local websites are really good for your local business. So this is now saying big shot websites with a lot of clout know what's up. Users and search engines alike respect them, making their endorsements a bit of a golden ticket. So that's why you get things like Fat Joe building. That's why you get companies like Fat Joe who do blogger outreach. Here we go. So this is where basically they'll you'll pay them to get you a link, right? And the higher the domain authority, the more you pay for that link. So if you've got a domain authority 50 website linking from there, £280, I believe, plus VAT to get that. That's Moz domain authority, not SEMrush. So Moz domain authority is actually much higher than Href domain authority, which is much higher than SEMrush, which is why they don't publish the SEMrush thing here. I'm going to start commenting too much on Fat Joe, but we do that cheaper, if I'm honest. Anyway, that's going on the domain authority. So the big discussion, or one of the big discussions in local SEO, is these kind of links that are maybe, let's say there's a blog that has a high domain authority, let's say it fits all of these criteria, and I buy a blog post on it for my client who's a local clinic, right? Looking at where we just read here, one local will tell you that's really, really going to help. If you look at the Hoff here, they would also tell you that's really, really going to help. So high quality inbound links and backlinks comes up quite high on their list there. Whereas if you go on some other local SEO webinars and talk to owners of big local SEO agencies, they'll tell you actually it doesn't really make that big a difference. They don't really believe in it. They believe only in local links. So that very much depends who you talk to. Now, this is where you've got to start thinking, who's giving me this information? So the Hoth here, this website is the Hoth, and they're saying that high quality inbound links and backlinks are quite important. The Hoth sell links. So obviously they're going to say that. If you look at some of the other things like Moz and SEMrush, this is actually seems like quite a good rundown here of local search ranking factors, and SEMrush no doubt is as well. But you've got to remember as well, like let's say we go to Bright Local, right? Bright Local this is a slightly different thing. This is about link building again, what we were just discussing. But Bright Local will tell you that citations are very important, right? Well, yes, they are. But Bright Local also have a citation builder service. It's very good. We use it. But you've got to keep all this, bear in mind with any information that you get from anyone, well, do they have an agenda in me believing this information? Am I more likely to buy their service if I believe this information that they're telling me? It doesn't mean it's not right. It just means look in different places all over the internet to try and find out, what's the consensus? What do people agree on? What do they not agree on? And link building is one of these things where some people say, all links are good, high authority blogs and so on, that's really good for all businesses, doesn't matter. Some people say not so relevant for local businesses and so on. Because there's some ambiguity about it, and because we've done these things for clients and got results, and we've done the same things for clients and not got results. So what we tend to do is just the most comprehensive approach possible. So we build citations, we build what I call foundational links, which is listings on Web 2.0 sites. I'm not going to get all that into right now. We also build guest posts on high authority blogs, but we also do a lot of local outreach and try and get genuine links from local sources. And that way for us, we're covering every single possible base. We're covering everything that anyone says works and that we've seen to work. And sooner or later, we're building this up into an effective link strategy. And also a very natural looking one, because we haven't just focused on one thing. We've built quite a diverse set of links, which we hope has an effect over time. So I did say, I'm just going to unshare my screen now. I did say, whoops, that I'd mentioned something about what you should be focusing on, which might not be what you think you should be focusing on. And that is basically do your Google business profile, optimize your website, build backlinks, yes, but don't then, once you've got all those foundations in place, don't focus on SEO. Even in doing SEO, don't focus on SEO. Focus on this, because you might build links, you might do these things, and for one clinic will do it and this happens, for another one this or nothing happens, and so on. So there's no guarantee that your SEO exploits are really going to have, or at least in the short to medium term, that they're going to have the results you want. So focus on organic marketing. Focus on outreach, focus on getting out there, engaging with your community, finding other businesses, organizations, and so on that you can work with. And then whenever you do come up with things that you can do together, just always, like I say, think link. Think, can I get a backlink from these people? Can we do reciprocal blog posts? Can I offer them a guest post for their website? If you've done anything at all that's outside of your ordinary daily routine, tell every local press, every local blog, everything, and almost forget that SEO exists and imagine that you're just trying to get the word out about your clinic locally via organic community marketing, and contact as many people as you can. Just always just be doing stuff like that. Take photos of anything at all you do that's interesting, local press, local blogs, social media, all this kind of thing. And then just whenever you do get someone by, ask them for a link. That way, over time, you're building up your link profile. Yeah, you can do other link building activities as well, and you can get us or someone else to do that sort of thing for you. But that way, you're building up your link profile over time. But if it takes time for that to have an effect on your SEO, and if you're still sort of languishing on page 2 for the first 2-3 years after starting this process, it doesn't matter, because the things you're doing have an intrinsic marketing benefit, which means that you're getting exposure from them anyway. You're getting patients from them anyway. You're getting a good reputation locally anyway, just by doing these things. Whereas if you go to Fat Joe and buy yourself 10 blog posts at 280 quid a pop, and it doesn't actually improve your SEO, at least not straight away, not until you've maybe built up some more organic links as well, then you just spent $3,000 and you haven't actually got anything back from it, which is, we all know, is not very good business sense if you're a small clinic. So or even a big clinic. So focus on that, focus on organic marketing, focus on real world things, optimize your website, optimize your GBP, do foundational link building. But in terms of SEO, don't think about SEO. Think about organic marketing, and then think link and build in natural links from your organic marketing. That's my takeaway for local clinic SEO and local ranking factors. Now, if anyone has still got the "will be starting shortly" message at the bottom instead of the one that says any questions or other topics you'd like to talk about today, if anyone has any questions or comments, anything else you would like to discuss today, please just drop a comment now or forever hold your peace. And we'll be talking again next week. Next week, I'm going to talk about condition pages and how to write a good condition page or treatment page. If there are no questions today or anything else that anyone wants to discuss today, I will go and do some marketing for my clients. So have a great day. I hope people have found this useful. If you want to send me questions or topics in advance for future webinars, then please go ahead and do so, and we'll discuss anything that you want to discuss. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening or whenever you're watching this. Take care. Bye bye.